Welcome back to the series, Who is This? We've been looking at the big picture of the Bible, starting with the creation of the world and tracing the story through the Old and New Testaments. If you missed the previous videos, be sure to check them out so you can get the full picture of how each book fits into the story of Scripture. Now, let's dive into the Book of Proverbs. The Book of Proverbs is like a wise friend giving you practical advice for life. Imagine sitting on a porch with an old, experienced friend sipping sweet tea while he shares stories and tips from his life. That's what reading Proverbs feels like. And no wonder it's one of the most read and loved books in the Bible. So, here are 3 things you should know about the Book of Proverbs. Number 1. Who wrote it? Most of the Book of Proverbs was written by King Solomon, the wisest king who ever lived in Israel. He became famous throughout the world for his wisdom. People came from everywhere to listen to him and learn from him. But Solomon didn't stop there. He didn't just hoard wisdom for himself. He shared it. And that's why we have the Book of Proverbs today. It's Solomon passing on his wisdom to his son, Rehoboam, so that the next generation would walk in wisdom too. Some scholars believe that certain proverbs were written by other wise men, like Agur and Lemuel, but most of the book is Solomon's. Number 2. What's the main point? The main idea of Proverbs is this: the fear of God is the start of wisdom. Other translations say it like this: the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. First, notice the word fear doesn't mean being scared of God, cowering in His presence, trembling before His power. No, the Hebrew word used here means to respect, to honor, to reverence God. It's not a fearful reverence like a servant has for their master, but a childlike reverence that children have for their father or mother. You don't fear them because they might punish you if you don't do what they say. Rather, you respect them, honor them, and listen to them because you love them and you know they only want what's best for you. So Proverbs tells us that wisdom begins with respecting and honoring God. Once we understand who God is and how awesome He is, then we can begin to understand and walk in His ways. That's what the rest of Proverbs is about, walking in God's ways. We see constant comparisons throughout the book: the wise versus the foolish, the diligent versus the lazy, the righteous versus the wicked. The path of wisdom is presented as the way of life, the way of blessing. On the other hand, the way of folly leads to destruction. Proverbs gives us wisdom to choose the right path in every situation, which brings us to number 3. Why should you care? Why should you read the Book of Proverbs? Because it will change the way you live. Proverbs isn't just good advice. It's God's advice, and He has promised that His word will not return void. Proverbs will help you become wiser in everyday life, sharper in decision-making, more effective in communication, better at managing your resources, more successful in your relationships, and much, much more. Proverbs will also help you avoid many problems. For example, Proverbs warns us about the consequences of anger, the dangers of lust, the pitfalls of gossip, the problems caused by pride, and many other issues. Reading Proverbs is like putting on armor. The book is full of warnings and advice on how to handle different situations. It gives us mental preparation for the battles we will face in life. It's kind of like when a coach prepares his team for a big game. He knows what the other team's strengths are, so he develops a strategy for how his team can counter those strengths. Similarly, Proverbs helps us prepare for the different situations we will face in life. It gives us God's game plan so we can walk wisely, honor God, and enjoy life. Proverbs is not just for pastors or preachers. It's for anyone who wants to live wisely. And that's all of us, right? We all want to live wisely. We want to make good decisions, avoid problems, enjoy our relationships, and leave a legacy behind. Proverbs can help us do that. So take some time and read through the Book of Proverbs. Meditate on these words and apply them to your life. You won't regret it. And don't forget to join us next time as we continue our series, Who is This?